Right, we're in action. Let's put that phone down. So, day 2 of the 7-day fast. Feeling hungry and a little bit weak in the body. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was up till midnight taking care of a few things, and then up again this morning at 5. Back into the mahi, and just got to a point now where I've caught up with the emails and the immediate to-do list, and I was making myself a cup of tea, which consisted of half a teaspoon of green tea leaves, half a teaspoon of Earl Grey, and then I seen in the pantry there a little packet of rosemary leaf, and so I thought I'll add a bit of rosemary. And then I remember someone telling me about putting a sprinkle of pink Himalayan rock salt in with your hot water. I thought to myself, I wonder what that would taste like. And I know that it doesn't break your fast, and that people quite often use it as a tool when fasting. And so I went ahead and chucked a bit of the pink Himalayan rock salt in there, and I tell you what, I've discovered almost the next best thing to a roast lamb whilst fasting. So it's my new favourite thing. I've had 2 of them today, and I'm going through sort of, humps and hollows as far as energy levels. Go through feeling really positive and energetic and good. Still doing my 4-minute Zach Bush 4-minute workouts every day, and pushing the reps out as far as number of reps, and then sometimes my mind's just like stops, and I all of a sudden feel like I want to sit down. And it was actually a phone call in particular that made me feel like stopping, that I had with a good mate who was dealing with some things, and things not so well, going so well with his employment, and some people that he wasn't too happy with getting a job within his employment, and it came across to me like I just felt yuck about it, like complaining. I don't do so well with the complaining side of things. I don't like to complain, and I don't like people complaining. I like people doing stuff about their issues and not complaining to anyone other than someone that can do something about the complaint. And so I found myself going a bit sort of, getting sucked into that energy loop, that negative energy loop. And it's actually another book I've been reading whilst reading the one on Tao, which someone corrected me on the last YouTube video yesterday. The pronunciation of that is Tao. Reading the way of the Tao, as well as reading a book by a fella who Peter Barrett introduced me to by the name of Jordan B. Peterson, and he talks a lot about you quickly become those you surround yourself with, and being responsible for who you surround yourself with. And so I started to go into my head like I just wanted to hang up on the phone. And this guy's been a mate of mine for years. He's a good mate, and he's just dealing with some stuff, and I went in my head like, oh, do I just hang up? And I'm actually due to go and spend some time with this guy on Saturday, and I thought to myself, I almost felt like not going because I didn't want to get sucked into the negativity and being responsible for that. And then I thought, you know what, I'm actually better than that. This guy is a really good mate of mine. He's not someone I'm just going to not choose. And so I said to myself, I'm going to go along and see if I can, pull him out of that, and offer him a brighter perspective on things. So that was a cool little insight. Been learning a lot through reading Jordan B. Peterson. If you haven't looked at any of his stuff, he's well worth checking out. Big on responsibility, big on taking action, and big on sacrifice. He talks a lot about sacrifice, and it's really been quite a powerful learning journey for me, reading some of his stuff as well as doing the stuff I've been doing with Landmark and breathing techniques, doing the Wim Hof stuff and the Breath of Bliss stuff, and all the stuff that I was actually on a interview with a student from down at Otago University, Madison, and she is doing a thesis on the socio-economical or social science aspect of regenerative agriculture, and her and I had an interview for a bit over an hour together, and what came up for me then was we talked about some of the limitations to the more mindset shifts and the more difficult to measure aspects of regenerative agriculture, and we talked about how important that mindset shift was from you know, being in control of nature and controlling a situation to all of a sudden realizing you're just part of the system, and to allow yourself to be part of something as to working to manipulate and control it, especially something as powerful as Mother Nature. And sure, you can take on aspects of regenerative agriculture without the mindset shifts. There's enough information out there and you can do that, but I feel it's a bit like reading the menu without having the meal. I think you're missing something. The real, you know, magic, or the real gold, is when you can shift your mindset to a whole systems view rather than being attached to the answers and the system and the you know, prescription, and create it for yourself. And Madison asked me, what do you think it's a challenge, and do you think it's something that, you know, is difficult to portray, that harder to measurable stuff like the you know, the authenticity, the sharing, the openness, the willingness, the letting go of control side of things of regenerative agriculture, and is it important? I said, well, it is important. It's not necessary. You can still do stuff you know, by taking, you know, recipes off people, and sure, you'll see results, but the key is that shifting of the mindset, and that is uncomfortable. And so you know, like Jordan Peterson says, you know, pushing yourself through that discomfort, you know, and being willing to learn, because, you know, one of the 12 rules for life that he talks about is, you know, listen to people as though they might know something that you don't. And I think that's really powerful, and if farmers can get their head around that, and know that really what we know right now, and what we've been, you know, so hell-bent on following as farmers, as far as the system and the way to go about farming, you know, it's very, all you've got to do is pick up a Lincoln Technical Farm Manual. It's very generic and linear, very simple to follow, but as we all know, it doesn't suit everyone. And that's something that's been really big for me while I'm talking about this with you today, is I haven't always been this open to new ideas. In fact, I was the sort of person that, I remember when I first got introduced to breathing, I was so hesitant to do it, the Wim Hof breathing technique. The first time I did it was in the workshop at Harts Creek Farm, and I probably only did it because it was George Chamberlain that showed me, and I really respected that guy a lot. But at the same time, when I first, you know, got into the breathing, I thought to myself, wow, this is weird, and I wanted to make sure no one could see me. And, you know, looking back on who I was, you know, I sure as shit wouldn't have been too keen to share with the world my, you know, taking part in that sort of thing, let alone, you know, reading about the Tao and practicing some breath work, and even having a crack at meditation. It's all just stuff I didn't know, and being open to learning that stuff. And fasting, I mean, I haven't eaten for 2 days. It's crazy. The mindset thing around eating is like, we need it, but it's a habitual thing. Like, sure, we need food, but at the frequency we're used to, 3 meals a day, you know, I'm starting to believe it's a bit excessive. What else has come up for me today is it's really exciting being part of a couple of, you know, the 3 enterprises I am, and how much they're growing. And just working it all out as far as the growing pains, you know. Talking with Peter this morning about, you know, how we're purchasing, you know, mixing equipment, and just really having to, you know, literally build I'll take Sam Lang's quote, build the plane as we're flying it. And, you know, just one foot in front of the other, just do the next thing right. What's the problem? This is what we're going to do. What are we dealing with today? Well, we've got this new problem. How we deal with that? Right, let's, you know, being open to that. And actually, today I got a phone call from a cool dude by the name of Ian Harvey, who has an outfit called Collective Intelligence, and he was talking to me about joining one of their groups, and we had a good Zoom chat today about that. And that sounds like something really cool. You know, it's about getting diverse, you know, backgrounds of people in business together in a room, sharing and empowering and supporting each other. And I've only just had really one conversation about it, but I'm applying for a scholarship to you know, partake in that, and just developing myself all the time. This fast thing's really identifying, or, you know, re-demonstrating to me what's what's possible, you know, psychologically and physically and mentally from myself as a human being. And so are these videos. You know, I looked in the mirror earlier and got a bit of a fright. I thought, shit, and you know, Ruby said to me earlier, shit, you look tired. I said, man, I feel tired. And every part of me is like, oh, you know, especially with this new camera I got, is it shows up all of the guts and glory. And I thought, nah, bugger it, you just gotta, you know, get on and do it. Was actually part of seeing a video from Ray Milladoni from Farming Secrets in Australia, where I thought, you know, you just gotta not worry about getting it perfect and just go ahead and what was the word, Ray? When you create a video and you send it out there to the world, publish. Just go ahead and hit publish, and so that's what I'm doing. So I'm thinking about tomorrow. I've got a big day, leaving here at 5:30, heading down to visit a couple of farmers in Morven, and then down in Alma, and then back up at Geraldine. So it's a big day tomorrow. Friday, another day in the office, and then Saturday off into the mainland, into Central, through the Mackenzie Basin and up into Central Otago, through Queenstown and into Glenorchy, which I'm really excited about that. I've never been to Glenorchy, and I'm really excited about getting down there, taking this camera and taking a few photos, and of course keeping up with the 7 days in the life of Jono vlog series. I think that's what we call it, vlogging. Nevertheless, something else I'm also learning with this camera is it only records for 30 minutes at a time. So as we learnt today with the interview with the Otago uni student, Madison, she was cut off a couple of times when we hit the half-an-hour mark, and I'm not too sure how to go about doing that, just working it all out like everything. I'm you know, ever present to the wisdom of Tim Chamberlain when he used to say to me, Jono, we're all just fucking trying to work it out. And you didn't always use the F word, and sometimes the F word would come in a bit later, like, Jono, we're all just trying to, I don't know, what did he say? We're all just trying to, no, we're all just fucking trying to work it out, a bit earlier. And I tell you what, Tim, it is a real joy, and a bit scary and a bit exciting, and all the emotions in between, just working it out. And you know, the article, or the interview that I did with Madison today, the last question was, you know, if I could have something that would help me, you know, do more of what I do now, and what would allow me to have more of an impact. And what came up for me was just, you know, if everyone could be open to, or, you know, willing to be vulnerable, in that, you know, we don't know it all, and who are we to say that what we're doing is right, and that if we all came together without judgment, without opinion, you know, opinion's fine, but let's put that aside when we're having these big conversations, when we need to talk about what's best for everyone on the planet. And so what I thought is, if everyone could just let go of that pride, bring a bit of vulnerability, bring a bit of authenticity, really listen, not listening for, you know, what you think is right or wrong, but just listening for possibilities, taking it all in, you know, as additions to the toolkit, and then, you know, let's build a system that really works, that works for everyone. It's the context that I talk about, that I live from every day. Some of you have heard it, and that's, how do I create a world that works for everybody, aligned with nature? And I'm just working it out every day, learning a bit more, reading a bit more material, you know, being disciplined with my work so that I can learn and be open, rather than being scrambled in my head of all the things that there is to do. And there's times where I go into that, and that's not my creative time. But, you know, learning from mentors like Peter Barrett and Jordan B. Peterson, and through my peers, is, you know, just getting the work done. If you've got to get up at 3 AM, you get up at 3 AM. If you've got to work till midnight, you work till midnight, and you get it done. And what I find is the right people, the right resources, you know, it all comes forth, but it requires a willingness and an authenticity. So I think that's what I'll leave today's episode with, is just, you know, have a look at what life could be if we all just let go of that, you know, judgmental way of being, that righteous way of being, and brought a bit of curiosity to the picture, like what could life look like if we all just communicated clearly, and worked together for what's best for everyone, for, you know, a you and me world as opposed to a you or me world. Now I've got to work out how to turn this thing off. No, I'll come up here.